It's in my brain.
Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, present with us now within the Health or Safety Committee is Jesse Howard. And Jess, would you lead us off and what's going on in your department, please?
Yeah, so a little background on what's going on. Bear and I had taken some classes with Montana State Fund, and after the classes we got talking. It was like, oh man, I wish we could do some of this stuff here at the county, and how would we implement that? And it added more conversation with Dan Johnson, Montana State Fund, our rep there. And so we started having some meetings on how we can improve the safety of our employees, and it came down to a root cause, and that's our continuity of onboarding our new employees. What we were doing as far as the safety was good, but when we get done with them on the safety onboarding, we need to make sure that the departments are following up on the safety stuff. And so going through some of this, and Bear can attest to this, he's come up with a pilot program for, and it's still kind of a work in progress kind of deal, where after we get done with the safety orientation and the bloodborne pathogens, where we turn them back to the departments. We had a recent hire with road and bridges, where we put them through a kind of a pilot program, safety wise, and a checklist and whatnot, and we got some pretty good feedback from that, from our new employee who worked at
City of Helena,
and he said it was way better than what he did with City of Helena. So we'd like to eventually get all the departments together and come up, and the safety onboarding is standardized. Everybody goes through the same safety, high risk, low risk, they go through the same safety stuff. Where the change in the safety stuff will be at the department level. Public health has a different safety hazard than, say, the sheriff's office, so on and so forth. And so we want to get everybody kind of together after we finish Bear's pilot, and kind of see where the different departments can make their own onboarding. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close, and it's, the onboarding for my guys has lacked through the years, and we know that was an issue. Come in and go to work, you just threw them to the wolves, and but we also noticed that talking to other department heads, that it was a kind of a top-down issue. I was given keys and said, "Have a good day." Jesse was kind of the same way, and so it's not just an onboarding of new hires for our employees, but also looking at a separate
Department
checklist, for a department head onboarding as well, so that we can just better prepare everyone for the jobs we have to do. Improve lines of communication and processes, and expectations, goals for departments and whatnot, and as well as employees. And so we went through kind of a rough and dirty one with our new hire Dale out of Montana City, and we got a lot of, like, the information was there, but the format wasn't there, so I got to rework it. I've got some stuff from Kelly, like the new hire packet, to better incorporate that information, and just in between of everything else going on, slowly working on it.
The whole goal for this is to better prepare our employees to be successful, because that'll add to, I guess, retention. When we set our employees up for success, safety and orientation wise, we'll be able to keep them for longer. And hopefully get rid of some of this, revolving door kind of deal, with a lot of it. One thing that we'd like to work on also is the succession planning. When key staff retired, do we have a 1B to step in, and or even a 2 to just step in and make some of those decisions? If for whatever reason the department head's out sick for a month, or an emergency happens and they're just not able to show up to the office, do we have this succession planning ready? I think I counted just real quickly, in the last 5 years, we've gone through 5 new department heads. A lot of that was during COVID. Pam, Bear, Mike, myself. Pat, and then there's also the new sheriff. So yeah, six new department heads. And I feel that we can probably onboard them a little better than we did in the past, so that they're better prepared for budgets, all that other good stuff. So that's something that I think we would like to look at. And then all this should be like a low cost, high return on our investment. Just getting our people and then having our second in command, coming in and being able to make those baseline decisions and stuff.
With the new hire one as well, it's helping establish that safety culture from day one. When they see our commitment as a county and departments to safety, and it's more a part of that onboarding process and conversation. And we're starting that at the job description, the advertisement for position levels. So it's from the first time they read an ad, a help wanted ad, they see that safety is a priority here. And it'll help bring those individuals with that same mindset and create that mindset from day one.
And so I guess what we're here for is, hopefully you guys can get behind it. I'm pretty sure you guys will. And then, just getting everybody together and having a productive meeting, not just pat everybody on the back kind of thing. We're all doing a good thing.
It's gonna be more department specific, a lot of it.
Yeah, so with the goal, I think or the vision is that we'll kind of rework what we've got, make it more user friendly, more streamlined, and make sure we're not missing any gaps. But it'll be a template that each department head could go in and insert their information,
Fill their gaps.
Put in what's important to them, because they don't need to do equipment trainings and safeties like we do.
No,
But they have other safety issues or security issues that they are involved in. So this is creating the template more than an actual document. And then each department will be responsible for doing their own. That's where we'd like to do like a workshop or something with department heads to run through it and say, this is kind of what we had, but this is not a set in stone document either. This is for you to modify and kind of work through it with them and make sure we're not missing things that we didn't think of.
Yep. And another thing that would be pretty good, we were just kind of talking about is, a quarterly department head meeting. Because a lot of us are working on similar stuff. And if we're working on similar stuff, we can piggyback off each other and reduce that workload a little bit.
We used to do them 3 times a year. Had it kind of
A couple times anyway.
Yeah. So
But I think one of the
not a
things
bad idea.
that we're doing is we're gonna try to get more of the department heads in here on a regular basis on Tuesday mornings, and we'll split it up. Doesn't have to be every month or every week, but at least some of them coming through, so we know.
Yeah, I mean, just myself, I'm just a small department, not really much to report on, but I'd like to talk with you guys occasionally. So that's why I call in, but yeah, it's to get the department heads together in one room though, I think would be beneficial just for that collaboration piece. And it'd be more of a work meeting than just a lunch meeting kind of deal. That's what I see.
Yeah, I would say to get the ball rolling, but there's a lot of times I think that, you know, maybe we're working on something that another department's been doing, and they've got a better way of doing it. And being able to exchange those ideas and processes, or if we need help on a certain situation that they may have a better answer for.
Or just like grant deliverables.
Yeah.
They might be working on a grant deliverable that you're unaware of, and then you can just snag that. You know, whatever to decrease that workload and increase the collaboration. In my mind, it just creates a more unified force, like a unified county.
Team building,
Yeah,
continuity and team building.
No, we can definitely do that, Jesse. We can, instead of doing our usual at the round table at a department head meeting, we can have a subject matter and we can give them the heads up what that is before we get everybody together.
yeah, well,
If that's what you want to do. I guess.
I'm just go around the departments and just kind of tick off what you've been working on, some struggles that maybe you're feeling, and maybe some solutions to those struggles.
Yeah, if you wanna
Just
get
kinda support
something
each
put
other.
together that we can shoot out an invitation to all the department heads and say, we're gonna meet out at the fairgrounds on this whatever afternoon, and this is what we're gonna talk about.
We can add cybersecurity to that. I think we need to
Yes,
yeah.
update them on our cybersecurity issues and why we're doing it and all that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah, I mean, that's a great opportunity, I think, for everyone to hear the same message.
Mhm.
I also think that with like, you know, Jesse said, if we have you know, come with your 3 good, 3 bad, or whatever, 3 issues, that it needs to be. We need to tell them that that's something that needs to be done, because a lot of times we do our safety committee or those luncheons and say, oh, nothing new to report, because they don't think they need to.
Right.
You know, I think that's where from you gentlemen, it's gonna be that push of making sure everybody's pulling their weight and being involved and not just showing up for the free cake or donuts or.
Well, I'm sure everyone's pulling their weight, and it's just a matter of just, you know, these are the things we're working on, these are the struggles, anyone have any solutions?
Right.
Yeah,
Getting them to
sure.
talk, you know.
Well, they get more
Yeah.
value out of it if they
It just
participate.
eliminates that silo,
Mhm.
that siloing.
Right.
It's inadvertently that happens. It's just human nature, you know, you get stuck in your own kingdom and you're worried about your own stuff, but letting others know what's going on and just kind of breaking those barriers down.
Yeah, definitely. Get us something that you want us to send out and we'll get a meeting put together and.
Sure. Got that down on my notes here. Dan would like to show up. He's a little busy today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can get Dan at the meeting, that would keep people's interest even more, kind of on a new pace.
Absolutely.
It may not hurt, maybe the first 1 or 2. With him coming to just kind of run through
Facilitating.
well, to go through kind of a quick nasty version of their onboarding safety that brought all this to light.
Sure.
Just to give everyone some context of why it's important. The numbers of the injuries within the first year and whatnot.
Yeah, and our work comp mod factor is the lowest it's been in years, and that equates to, how much was it? Like 70-some thousand savings?
Yeah, we had that
I
one
mean,
blip. We had that one
We
blip.
did. Letter was all mad.
Yeah.
It happens, but I mean, so they need to know that there's a reason why we do these things, not just because it's busy work. I mean, that saved us a ton of money and that equates to better COLAs and all that kind of stuff.
And just the safety of our workers. I
And
that's worth a lot
exactly.
right
It's
there.
the bottom
Yeah.
line, is
People
everybody
being-
going home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been pretty good about hitting those high risk departments. You know, the road department and solid waste, they have standing safety meetings. I'd like to get more in other departments. And I did maintenance yesterday, actually, walk out, take out stuff that we have to do. which, speaking of which, I have a new lockout tagout protocol that needs to be signed by employees. Make sure that they've gone through it. So that they're aware of it. It's something that's law. So we have to do that. There's also 7 other subjects that we need to do annually that we need to make sure that our folks are doing. And the lockout tagout is the only one that we can't self-study. We have to actually have someone do it. So, but the other 7, we can self-study and sign off on and all other good stuff. So that just makes, we're just improving as we go along here. So.
Good.
Yes, any questions from the commissioners? Sure.
I think we're good. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Doing great. Maybe if we do the first department head meeting, we can bring forward this new onboarding thing and give them an idea what it's about and what the process might entail and the fact that we know it works at least once.
Yeah, it worked. Well, he hasn't been injured, but I mean, he just started. But I mean, the feedback was great.
Right.
That was the whole thing is, and I think we talked about this at the last safety meeting I was at, and I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Just add on to one more piece.
Yeah,
That'll help.
we can only do so much.
When you're talking safety, as your department, you get somebody new hired, you're just talking about, it's just a broad, like you say, a broad stroke of everything where you need
Right.
to actually be more specific for the job they're doing.
So when we go through a new employee orientation, it's we talk about the Montana Safety Culture Act, 1994, and that's why ultimately they're there. We go through PPE, we go through slips, trips and falls, we go through a little bit in the safety manual. I try to bring forth the return to work program, which is big for that EMOD factor. Plus everybody wants to earn a full check, not a 60% of a check. And so, it's a win-win for folks to get back as soon as possible. We also talk about lifting and how to properly lift. And I use a lot of Montana State Fund videos for that stuff because they had great production value. And
It's pretty generic.
yeah,
It's not
Yeah,
really office specific.
each subject is, 3 or 4 minutes long. Fire extinguishers, how to properly inspect them, how to use them. We talk about run, hide, fight for armed intruder stuff. And then we also talk about safety community and being involved with that and all that good stuff. So and bloodborne pathogens, but again, it's all general and very broad spectrum.
Good. Sounds like a great idea.
But the real nuts and bolts comes down to that department specific stuff. And that's where mentoring and mentorship and having those subject matter experts within that department, running through the specifics, hazards of their department. That's where we're going to work on probably the most. And then department head onboarding too. It's, that's
And I
That's
think
a
that's
rough
something
one.
you can do with the department heads. Part of their onboarding is explain why this is important and why we do it. And that without them on board, what's gonna happen to the people that they're supervising.
well, I saw it firsthand with Pam and Karen. Pam was interested in the job, but Karen wasn't willing to bring her in
Yeah,
and
that's
do the detail stuff.
Sometimes that's a problem.
That's,
People don't always leave on a good note.
well, right, yeah, well, there is that, and then there's the Brian Hahn situation where,
Yeah.
he passed away. Where we could probably bring up a 1B and make some pretty steady decisions until we get that person hired in. Whether the the 1B is interested in the 1A position or not, it doesn't matter, but they can steady that ship until we get the right person hired. I think that's important.
Mhm.
And, you know, that's not just emergency management speaking, but just business speaking. I think that's important that we
Yep.
bring our second in command up.
Yeah, the succession part, I mean, I can think of a couple of people that are probably getting close to retirement in department heads. We got Megan leaving, you know, that's something that's gonna be big. And
That's 30 years of experience, you know, out the door. So,
even just knowing where to find information. What file cabinet to look in for something.
yeah. Good,
Sounds good.
okay,
Let's get a meeting together.
all right, well,
Thanks.
I'll work on that stuff.
I like your outlook at the team perspective. That's what it's all about.
It is, it's not different.
No,
We're all.
each one of us make up a part of this whole. And
Yeah. Yeah. We're all the same, we're all on the same team here,
Yep.
so. Okay. Thanks, guys.